often in our fast-paced news world, our immediate attention jumps from one crisis to the next, with little time or desire to revisit the original event. This week, EWTN News In Depth is looking back nearly 2 months now to check up on those hard-hit areas in western North Carolina so devastated by Hurricane Helene. Reporter Roselle Reyes says as communities struggle to recover, the Catholic Church in the Diocese of Charlotte is instrumental in helping the region regain some normalcy.
Part of our brain is shut down, I think, because we don't want to or are not able to face that devastation.
Downed trees, silt and mud on the roads, vehicle turned over, and debris on the side of the road.
Where did everything go? It's gone. It's really hard to comprehend the destruction.
These are the remnants of Hurricane Helene, the deadliest and most damaging storm to ever hit North Carolina.
We had a car and our clothes, and that was literally all we had.
It has been more than a month since the storm, and while some areas of Asheville are slowly recovering and getting back to some normalcy, many homes are still uninhabitable without working plumbing and drinking water. The hardest hit, Buncombe County, which includes the cities of Asheville, Black Mountain, and Swannanoa, have reported 43 deaths and more than 1,000 homes damaged or destroyed, affecting 200,000 people.
I'm in the middle of what used to be a beautiful neighborhood in East Asheville. What you see around me is what floodwaters left behind. It destroyed everything in its path, including houses, trees, and roads.
Brandon Schneeberger and his wife lived in one of these houses.
We heard a hurricane was coming, and it was sort of like the boy who cries wolf. We thought, this is maybe it's going to be a little bit bad, but surely our house won't be flooded.
As Hurricane Helene made landfall, and as the water in the nearby river continued to rise, Brandon knew it was time to leave. He and his wife hopped in their car and left for higher ground.
We were up there for about 3 days, stranded because when the river receded, there was mud was all over the road, and there were trees down and stuff, that sort of thing, so we couldn't leave. We finally got back down to the house on Friday, and there was nothing that we could really salvage at the time.
Brandon and his wife lost their home and everything in it. It's
completely destroyed, yeah. The river came about 2 feet over the roof line and took everything, or destroyed everything.
Michael Warnock shared a similar story.
I have a business in the River Arts District, and that business had flooded away on Friday morning. And our personal residence is in Montreat, North Carolina, and it was hit by a landslide and fallen trees.
Michael hopes to get his house back in living condition soon, but his business, on the other hand, was obliterated. Michael is a craftsman and had a custom furniture shop in Asheville.
So 3 days after the flood, our landlords told us, hey, everything is gone, but there's a random workbench downriver on a pile of rubble, and it says, my friend St. Joseph, pray for me. And I thought, wow, that's my bench. And he said it's almost unscathed.
He also found his crucifix greeting him at the entrance.
Another thing that was really interesting is my blessed crucifix just managed to stay on that wall. I have no idea how it did. It was just a little nail, but it stayed there.
Both Brandon and Michael are parishioners of St. Margaret Mary Church in Swannanoa. As both men grieve their losses, they turn to the faith for guidance and strength.
I keep asking God, why did this happen? Why did this happen? But when I look at the crucifix, when I look at Christ on the cross, it's very comforting because this is what Christianity is. It's going through, it's sharing in the sufferings of Christ. And he went through much more than we ever will have to.
We have hope. And what's been very encouraging is just the generosity of others. So many family and friends have been overwhelmingly generous to help us and give us hope to rebuild.
Dwayne and Janelle Hensley, who lost their home as well, continue to turn to prayer. They came back to find everything inside their house a total loss. Samaritan's Purse, a Christian humanitarian aid organization based in North Carolina, stepped in to help.
Well, the first day it was overwhelming. It was
and they were picking up our stuff and throwing it in the yard. They were very kind about it, and they would ask, do you want to save this? And they were really, really sweet about it. But it was hard. It was really hard to watch.
Stacks of debris, furniture, toys, pictures from scrapbooks and photo albums scattered can be seen in front of their yard. Work is being done to try to salvage their home. But despite the loss, the Hensleys have hope.
I can tell you that my experience, and I've got a little bit behind me now, God has never taken anything away from me that he didn't replace it with something better.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So my hope is in the Lord and what his plan is.
About 15 minutes away from downtown Asheville, St. Andrew the Apostle Catholic Church turned into a relief center, distributing emergency supplies just days after the hurricane.
We want to help. We want to do what we can. And we asked Father, and he said, as long as you have volunteers to work it, you can do what you need, what you feel like called to do. So this is what we're doing. We have the entire church, everything except Father's office is used to store something or another.
Parish Secretary Kelly Hansen and other parishioners volunteered to collect, organize, and distribute donations to anyone in need. There, we met a resident who has lost her source of income.
It's hard to work right now when I clean houses, and a lot of people don't need their houses cleaned right now. We're trying to get the necessities that we need that I can't afford to buy right now. So that's our situation.
Parishioners say St. Andrew the Apostle Church will remain open as a distribution center for as long as possible to help their community get back on their feet.
We're not going anywhere. We're going to be with you here for the long term, as long as it takes, and make sure that as best as we can help you to rebuild and your community, the structures of your community.
With more than half of the 46 counties in the Diocese of Charlotte designated federal disaster areas, Bishop Michael Martin said the relief efforts kicked into gear almost immediately. 40 churches in the hard-hit areas became relief centers, while truckloads of supplies from Charlotte poured in. Now, more than a month since Hurricane Helene, the Diocese of Charlotte is shifting its focus on long-term recovery efforts. Bishop Michael Martin sends a message to all those affected.
God walks with you now as you mourn the loss of your loved one and as you try as best as you can to put one foot in front of the other to continue to rebuild your life and to live a life that can once again know happiness, can once again know blessing.
Roselle Reyes, EWTN News In Depth.